So now, slowly we are getting into what do you call logical building. So we have crossed one uh, stage, we have completed one kind of milestone so far. That milestone is to know basics of Python. So whatever we have done so far is the basic, okay? Just started kind of thing. Now we are entering into second phase, okay, where it's more about logic building, okay, where we are planning, we will be learning how to solve difficult problems, okay? So probably this is the uh, you can say most difficult or most easy part. Difficult in the sense you have to think and solve a problem. That's why it's difficult. Easy because here it is irrespective of programming language. Okay, it doesn't matter whether you're working with Java or Python. Here, your focus is how to think and
Logic building.
logic building. Exactly. Okay, and that's what we'll do with if and for loop. Okay, now once we do this if and for loop, which might take us 2-3 days, afterwards it's just about implementing Python features. Okay, so we would go on about taking one feature, implement another feature, implement it, which becomes much easy. The whole thinking part is here itself. Okay, next 3-4 days. Okay, so right, we spoke about condition and we said that if you have to do something different, okay, if you don't have to follow the execution of line by line code. So what so far we've been doing line by line, but not now, correct? So again, we'll take the same example, okay, the one that you did. So let's say if I say n equal to 5, correct? I say n equal to 5, and now what you did, you checked if n is equal to 3, okay? You said print it's a triangle, correct? Else it's not a triangle. Else print it's not a triangle, correct? Now we can extend this logic for doing other stuff. Other stuff means we have to check other shapes also, isn't it? Okay, so we have to check other shapes also, correct? So now n can be less than 3 also, correct? So what I'll do now, before n equal to 3, I will check if n, okay, less than 3. Okay, I'll say print invalid shape. Okay, so if n is less than 3, okay, if I give 2, 1, 0, -1, -99, whatever, it will say invalid shape. So this is first check. Now I need to check the other condition. Okay, what if it is 3, correct? So it's a continuation of this previous. Now see, if I can do this, this is also fine. So what it'll do is, in this case, this is one if block and this is another if block, right? They are different. Okay, it is like they are different. They have no connection with each other.
Yes.
Okay, but if I want to connect them together, I want to create one if block. Okay, now see, uh, if I put -1, okay, what happens here? It will print invalid shape and it will print it's not a triangle. Okay, because this is one if block and here n is obviously less than 3, so it says invalid shape, and here it is not 3, right? So it goes to else and prints that. So logically, if you see, it's correct only. Okay, invalid shape and it's not triangle, both are correct, right? But see, one problem here is that since we have already checked n is less than 3, okay, which is true, okay, and again you are checking if it is n is less than 3 or not. So you are doing double work. So understood what I'm trying to say? See, if you are checking for something else, let's say I'm checking if it is n is same n I will take, and I'll see if it is multiples of 4 or not. So that becomes logically different to check. But just to check that if n is less than 3 or not, okay, for example, if n is less than 3, if this is true, then this will never be true. So automatically this has to get executed. So since these are same check, okay, so we should be able to combine them together. Okay. So how do you combine here? You use ELIF. Okay. If you have more than one condition to check, we use if and then we use else. If we have more than two conditions to check, in between we use ELIF. So if and ELIF, is short form for else if. Okay. So if and else if, these are the two things which will have conditions with it when you implement them. But
So
else
you
will have no conditions. Yeah. Go
so
ahead.
what you're saying is that ELIF will come in the if loop itself, right?
Correct. They are together.
Okay.
Continuation. So if this is true, correct, then these things will not be even checked. Not checked. Which makes sense, right? If n is less than 3, then obviously it cannot be 3. Right?
Okay.
And else obviously means that if none of the above conditions is true, then you execute me. If none of the above is true, then I should be called, right? So here, if n is less than 3, invalid shape. If n equal to 3, okay, it's a triangle. ELIF n equal to 4, okay, print, it's a square, right? And I can keep on building it like this, okay? Pentagon, hexagon, heptagon, octagon,
Yeah, just
and
one
we'll
minute.
stop here. Yes. You're saying something?
So if this condition, so we gave n equal to -1 right here. So here it will just print invalid shape and it will stop, right?
Correct. Because all these are part of same if block, right? So only one will be called.
Okay, so one more question is here we are asking like n is less than 3, right? So these ELIFs actually, these are all like greater than or equal to 3, right? What you are giving. So they won't be executed, right?
Yes,
Why we
yeah. Only one after these. Okay, that's why we are combining as one if. Otherwise, you could have write if, right? You could have written 100 ifs, or maybe in this case 10 ifs. But we are not writing 10 ifs because, okay, we want only one to be executed. So see, when you execute it, first if will be checked. If this is true, this will go inside, print this, and come out. Go to line number 18. Okay. If you check here and if this is true, you will go inside if and then you will do whatever is inside and then you come out here. Okay. Second case, if this is false, it will go and check here. If this is true, go inside and come out. But if this is also false, it will come here. If this is also false, it will come here. If this is also false, will come here. If this is also false, will come here. If this is true, execute and come out, right? So out of all these, only one condition will be true.
So this ELIF is not part of this if. That's what you are saying.
No, all is part of if only. No, that's what I'm saying. Only one of these will be executed. Okay. No, you don't understand.
That's why I did not understand. So yeah. Yeah. That's okay. We can continue. I will anyways listen to the class again, right?
No. We will not continue. We'll make sure that it works. Okay. So, um, let me
So
delete it.
what my question is,
Wait. Yeah, go
so
ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
when we are giving that if condition n less than 3, it will print invalid shape, right?
Correct.
So if that condition is false, it will directly come to else condition because
No,
it is
it will go to
satisfied.
next condition. Next condition. That's why
You
that's
said
why we are
that,
writing ELIF.
yeah, you said that ELIF is part of the if loop, right?
Correct. If not loop,
So,
condition. Don't say
I
loop.
mean,
Yeah.
okay, if that condition doesn't satisfy, then it will come. So it is part of the program,
Correct.
not part of that if, right?
No, no. Oh, that way. Sorry. Uh-huh. Okay, now I think I got your question. Okay. When I say part of if, it is like, okay, imagine this is a housing society. Okay.
Mm,
Okay, you have a housing society, and each of these are like houses. If is one
mm,
house, elif is one house, elif this elif is another house. Okay, else
mm,
is all part of same society. That's what I meant to say. Because
mm,
see, something which is part of this if, which is inside your home, like your drawing room, bedroom, kitchen, that means this will
mm,
be like this. Whatever I give with tab, that is
mm.
inside if. So
Okay.
this elif is not inside if, right?
Yeah, that is
Make
what
this
my
to make this inside if, I have to give tab space.
yeah, yeah.
Now this is inside this if.
Mm,
Okay, this is not
yeah,
inside if. This is independent house. Just
okay.
that it shares same society,
Mm,
right? For something
mm,
to be inside if, you have to give tab. Right? That's how you know. Okay, so you see the beginning position, first character of the line, and you see where it is. Based
mm,
on this only, you will decide whether it is part of which block. So if you say P, this P belongs here. So now you go up. Okay, so this print is part of this ELIF.
okay.
Now is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So
So
yeah. So when I
we
say
can just
yeah,
give
go ahead. Sorry.
we can just give else, right?
Else
No.
means anything. See, else
Yeah,
will
no,
mean if it
yeah, I
is
got it. Wait, I
yeah.
got it.
See, else would mean, see, if I'm checking only for n less than 3, so only for
Yeah,
n less than 3, this will execute. But if n is 3 or 4 or 5 or 100 or
yeah,
99,
yeah.
1000, it will not execute.
Yes, I understood. Like else will be like end of that.
Nothing.
But ELIF
Above
means
nothing
we can
works.
just continue giving
It's like default
conditions, right?
condition. It's like default,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
I understood. Yeah,
Whatever you have given above doesn't work. That's when you come to me. That's what else is like.
yeah, yeah. I got it. Thank you.
Sure. So now
So when else
if I
comes,
make this as, let's say, 5, okay.
mm, mm,
So this is false, isn't it? N is not
yes,
less than 3, then it comes here. Is n
mm,
equal to 3? This is also
yeah,
false. N equal to 4? This is also false. N
mm.
equal to 5?
It is true. So it
True.
will print
Print
hexagon.
heptagon, pentagon, and it will come to line number 18, 19. It will ignore all the other lines of code.
Mm.
That's how you're managing the flow.
So when all the above conditions are false, then it will come to else condition,
Else.
right? It will
Yes.
execute all of them
Yes.
and then come to the
Yes. So if I make
okay.
it 9 here,
Yeah, I got
okay,
it.
that's when it will go to else. 9 and anything more than 8, because we have not handled more than 8. We have handled everything below 8.
Yeah. So if n equal to 9, you are saying that it will print it's a complex number, right?
Yes.
I got it.
It's a complex shape, right? Yeah.
Yes. I got it, I think. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. So this is how you manage the flow. Okay. Now let's add some more complexity to it. Okay. Okay. So what I'll do is we'll find area.
Mm,
Okay. Area of the shape. Okay.
mm,
So now we know, okay, if I give here, And this is will be assignment. You have to complete this. Okay. So now let's say I give 4 here. Correct? So 4 is a square. Now here, okay, instead of having a square, I will ask enter the sides. Okay. So you will say S1 equal to input, enter length. Okay. And again, this will be integer, so I'll convert it into integer. Okay. Then I'll say in S2, enter breadth. Okay. Now, yesterday I was talking about something called as pass. Okay. Let's say, I have to build all these things, right? So see here, I have written some sample text. Okay. But let's say again, you have to write something complex. Okay. And obviously when you're writing 8 conditions, you can't type all the 8 conditions together, right? Okay. So what you could have done here is we could have said simply pass. Pass means it's a, it's an empty block for now. Okay. So if it is 5, when we enter n equal to 5, it will do nothing. It will come here and see it is pass. It will move ahead. It will not throw any error. Okay. This is like kind of placeholder condition. So if I go and say n equal to 5, okay, nothing will happen because it will go to n equal to 5 and says it's pass. So it'll go on to the line. And later, once you start, okay, now we are building for 4, then we can come and build for 5, then you can, and see, when you're writing a program, it's never a good idea, okay, especially when you are doing, when you're new to programming. It's never a good idea to copy all the 20 lines. Let's say you're copying from you're looking at some book or website, or you're trying to do from the example itself. Okay. It's never a good idea to type everything and then you run. Because see, you type everything and it ran and you think that you got the answer, but that's not right. Okay. You have to also understand, isn't it? So that's where it makes sense to type each line and see the output. See what it's giving. And then you do your, you move ahead. Okay. See, writing programming is exactly like doing maths work. Okay. This is what I say. Okay. Writing a program is like mathematics. So when you see someone doing it right, you'll feel very easy. It's like mathematics when you see a solved step, right? When you see a problem, you don't know how to proceed. But when you see the solved steps, it's easy to understand solved steps, right? Okay, step 1, do this, step 2, do this, step 3, do this. Programming is exactly like this. When you see this, okay, yes, it makes sense. But when you have to do from beginning, that's where you get stuck. So how do you don't read mathematics, isn't it? You practice, you solve mathematics. So Python is exactly like that, okay? Or any programming language is exactly like that. You don't read Python book. You don't read Python programs. You need to practice. In mathematics, when you have to master any topic, you have to do 3, 4 problems of that same topic, and then it becomes easy, right? It's either 0 or 1, whether you know or you don't know, correct or not, right? Once you understand when you do 3 solved examples, the 4th one, you become master, you can solve it by yourself. Same thing programming, okay? You practice 3, 4 programs, okay? And then 4th program you can do on your own. But when you practice, don't just copy and see the output. Oh, output, I got it. It's okay. No, you have to understand each line. The way you're asking questions, right? That's how you should ask. Okay. And in class, I want you to think like that. Okay. Think and ask me questions. Okay. And don't focus on the output. Okay. Focus should be on understanding the problem. Output is fine. Okay. If you write the program correctly, output has to come. Okay. So do not think about output. That's what I say. Don't think that, oh, I got the output, so I know the problem. No, it's about the steps. Okay. How do I do it? Because see, tomorrow at your work, or when you are doing any examination, or the same exact problem will not come, right? But problem similar to this will come. So you have to understand the steps and then try doing it. Okay. Yes. So, okay. So coming back to our number 4. Okay. So now I say S1 and S2. I can put if S1 equal to S2. Okay. Then I'll say print it's a square. Else I'll say print it's a rectangle. Now you see, this is what you had asked me earlier, right? This if is inside ELIF, inside. So this if else will be called only if this is true, right? The question that you asked me earlier, right? So now this is, that's why we don't say this is part of this ELIF, but this is inside this ELIF. How do you know it is inside? Because wherever you are starting S, right? This S is also below that. This I is also below that. This E is also below this I. Exactly, right? So these are part of your ELIF. And this print is inside this if. That's why this print is not part of this ELIF, but part of this if. But this if is part of ELIF.
Yes.
Right? And I can have another if here. Right? If S1 equal to 0, then I can say print area is not possible, else, okay, print area is S1 into S2, right? So now you see, I give 4. So if you run it, so now it's asking me enter the length because it has gone inside this. I enter 0 and again I enter 0. So since both are same, it says it's a square, okay? And then since S1 is 0, it says area is not possible. Okay. Now same program if I run, if I give 4, okay, and now if I give 6 and 6, oops, enter the breadth. Oh, n is already 4, right? Sorry. Okay, now you see this way. So length is 4 and breadth is 6. So length S1 and S2 are not equal, right? It went to else, right? So S1, S2 are not equal, 4 and 6 not equal, so it's a rectangle, isn't it? Now I can go and say length is 6 and breadth is also 6. So area is 36, right? So same thing you can do here. Now here you see, since S1 and S2 both are same, okay, if I checked S1, okay, I don't have to check S2 because both are same, isn't it? So if S1 is 0, S2 will also be 0, right? But here you see, if I'm checking only S1, what if S1 is not 0, but S2 is 0?
Then I have to put another if
Another
condition.
thing, exactly. So if S1 equal to 0, area is not possible. Else, okay, again you can check if S2 equal to 0, you say, see it is in else, okay? Else that means S1 is not 0, else area is not possible, okay? And then else, you can say area is S1 into S2, okay? This is one way of doing it, okay? This is one way
We
of,
can do ELIF in this instead, right?
sorry.
No, please go on.
Okay, so I'm just showing you different ways, okay? So this is one way of doing it, okay? Because see, if S is not equal to 0, it'll go in else. So now inside else you check if S2 is equal to 0 or not again, okay? If it is here, because S1 now we know that if you are here, that means S1 is not 0, correct? Now if S2 is 0, it is not possible, else area is this. Or we could do, okay, now purposely, okay, I'm taking same example and I'll put it in 5, though it doesn't make sense for pentagon, but let me put it here. So I'll say, uh, you know, uh, print It's a pentagon. See, logically, it doesn't make sense, right? It's not square or rectangle, but let's say, I'm trying to do rectangular. So in this example, I can say if S1 equal to 0 or S2 equal to 0, right? So area is not possible, else?
We can remove that now. Okay.
Yes. So same line you are saying or. You can use, remember your conditional statements and logical statements, right? Operators that we did. Okay. This is your logical operators, right? So it is a rectangle, correct? So S1 equal to 0 or S2 equal to 0, area is not possible. Okay, else area is, so this is another way to do it. Okay, or you could do, I think this is what you were saying and you stopped talking. Okay, so you said S1 equal to 0. Okay, ELIF. Okay, S2 equal to 0 and area is not possible. Okay, and else area is this, right? So yes, this is how the if works. Okay, you can have if inside, if inside, if inside, if, multiple if inside if. Okay, or you can have you can use or. Where is it? Here, right? No, here only we used. Yeah, you can use or and you can use multiple conditions together, and then or you can use ELIF, right? So it depends upon business problem. Okay, so when you're writing this, right, what is important here is number of execution that this program will have to run. Okay, so you change now. If you ask me, you have done it this way, you have done it this way, right? Inside if, or using. So see, same thing we have done 3 ways, right? One, we are doing inside. So if inside else, or we used or here, and then we used if ELIF else. Now, which is better way to do programming?
Or is good.
No, I'm just so how do you decide which is better?
Number of lines, which is less.
No, not the number of lines of writing the code, but number of lines that is executed, checked.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so see, and again, we are not going to talk about this, but when you study algorithm design, okay, how to design the best algorithm, they talk about time complexity and space complexity. Okay, time complexity and space complexity. Yes, space complexity is important. How much lines of code you are writing? Okay. Now, in this case, okay, it's not much, right? That is like 1 line versus 10 lines of code, right? So obviously 1 line is better than writing 5 lines or 6 lines, right? Here, if you see, there's not much increase in number of lines of code. Okay. Talks about time complexity. How much time it takes to execute a program. Okay. So if I, okay, if I put 4, okay, and let's say, okay, and for every possible combinations, okay, so now let's say S1 and S2 is 0. Okay, S1 and S2 is 0. So how many lines of code will be called in all the 3 cases? Let's check. Obviously n equal to 4. This is assuming that each line of code takes fixed number of time. Let's say each line code takes 1 second. It will take much less than 1 second, but let's assume each line takes 1 second, right? So this is the first line that will be called, correct? So 1 second. If n is less than 3, it is checked. So 2 second. Okay, n equal to 3. So it will be 3 second. It comes here. 4, okay, 4 seconds, true. Then it comes here. 5, 6. Then it comes here. 7, correct? 8, okay. Okay,
So
so
what you mean
okay,
is
sorry.
like
For square, we have only one check, right?
uh,
Okay, so sorry. So let's not check for square. Let's check if S2 is 0 and S1 is 5. Then what happens? Okay, sorry. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, right? So 13 steps we executed to say area is not passed when I gave S2 equal to 0, right? So in first case, it is 13. Now in second case, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? It will go inside this, but we're talking about this one. So 4, 5, 6, okay. 1, 2, 3,
I
4,
understood actually what you wanted to say.
4,
So
yeah, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Even though you're writing or, these are two conditions. So 10, 11. Okay?
oh, okay.
12. So now this is taking only 12 steps. Okay, so or doesn't mean because you're checking one condition and two condition. So you're doing two job only, isn't it?
Okay.
So it takes 2 steps. Right. Okay. So similarly, you have to do it for other one. And now what I did is for just one set of values. Okay. You have to do it for all combinations. Because in actual usage, you won't get just one set of values, right? You'll get multiple sets of values. So you have to do for all combination. What are the possible combinations? Possible combinations is S1 and S2 both are 5. Or S1 is 0, S2 is also 0. S1 is 0, S2 is non-zero. S1 is non-zero, S2 is 0. So 4 conditions possible. So you have to check for all the 4 combinations. 4 unique workflow is possible. Okay. Flow is also how many lines of, when you're testing it, also one of the factor is how many lines are executed. Right. So you have to make sure that all the lines are executed. So when I say all the possible combination, all the possible cases where all the possible lines are executed. So here you have 4 different conditions. Okay. S1 is, or maybe 5 is 5 and S2 is 5. Okay. So you go to square kind of thing where S1 is 6 and S2 is not equal to 6. Let's say 8. Then you have S1 equal to 0 and S2 equal to 0. Second condition is S1 equal to 0 and S2 is non-zero, say 5. Then S1 equal to 5 and S2 equal to 0. These are the 5 different sets of. I see, when you say 5, it can have 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10. It doesn't make sense because if you say 8, 8 or 10, 10, it will follow the same path. So if you have tested for S equal to 5 and S2 equal to 5, you don't have to test it again for S1 equal to 5 or S1 equal to 8 and S2 equal to 8 because it will follow the same path.
Yeah.
Your job is to make sure that the program is working fine by following all the paths. Okay. If you keep checking S1 equal to 8, S2 equal to 8, S2 equal to 10, S1 equal to 10, it doesn't make sense because you are testing same thing again and again. So if it is true for 5 and 5, it will be true for 8 and 8 also.
Yeah.
Right? So these are different combinations. So you will write all these 5 and see then how many steps. Okay. And obviously steps will be different. Okay. So we call it as best case scenario, worst case scenario, and average scenario. Best case scenario, okay, is Okay, let's say these are the 5 steps, and your step, the program 1. Okay, so this is program 1, program 2, program 3, right? We have 3 programs. This took 11, this took 9, and this took 14 lines of code, let's say. Okay, and I'm doing something like this, and then I'll change it. Let's say this took 6, okay, and this took 9, and this took 14, let's say. Now in this case, this took 8, and this took 12. Now if you see, and there's some random numbers I've taken. If you see here, okay, for this scenario, okay, program 2 is better. For this scenario, program 3 is better. Okay, for this 2 scenario, program 2 is better. For this scenario, program 1 is better, right? So for program 1, this is called best case scenario. And all these are worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Program 2, this is your best case scenario. And this is your worst case scenario. So what we say is, algorithm 1, best case scenario is 6. And worst case scenario is 11. Average scenario is, you do the average of 11 plus 11 plus 11 plus 11 plus 6 by 5. For here, worst case scenario is 12. Best case is 9. Average case is, again, you take the average of these values. Okay, for 14, this one, best case scenario is 8, this case. Worst case is 14. And then average is, take average of this. So if you take average, probably algorithm 2 will give you the best value. This will be closer to 11, right? This will be closer to it. Obviously, looking at it, 3 is worst case, right? I mean, 3 will be worse among all these 3. So this is not preferred. Okay. Though even for second case scenario, you get 8, but others, its average will be much higher. Here, okay, probably I'm expecting this to be closer to 9, 10, and this will be closer to 10. So probably more or less, let's assume that this gives you better average. So for this program, step 2 is preferred.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how algorithm design will look at. But for now, anyway, make sure that you don't repeat the condition checking twice. Okay, there are few important programming rules that you need to follow. One, do not try to do check twice, right? When we started that, right, we wrote n less than 3 in different if and n equal to in different if. There, the else got repeated twice, remember? So that is clearly a violation of best programming principles. So try to avoid those things. Don't worry too much about this one. Okay, don't worry. Okay, our programs will not be that complex that we have to worry about this. But few things I have to keep in mind is, do not try to check same condition twice. Okay, if you are avoiding that, your program is good. Correct? So this is how if works, if else works. So we talked about if else, ELIF, nested if, right? Nested means if inside if, right? This is nesting. This is called nesting. So we have this condition which is inside this, this is inside this, right? So this is called nesting conditions. Okay. So your assignment is, okay, forget about this, okay? This is okay. Now you have written the program, right? Program to find sum and average of 5 marks. Okay. Now extend it, okay, and assign grade. Okay. How do you assign grade? Assign grade on the basis of percentage, yes. Average greater than 90, grade A. Average greater than 75, grade B. average greater than 60, grade C. Average greater than 50, grade D. And average greater than 40, grade E. And average less than 40, you have F. Okay, so do this and then we are done with if condition.
Oh, it's like if average is greater than 40 and then it will come ELIF the rest of the things.
Yeah, you can do it either ways. Okay, see,
Yeah,
now
try.
no, whether you start from n less than 3 to n greater than, or you can even start with this n greater than 8, the complex, and then you can go down, right? So it's up to you. It can be done both ways. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
so it's up to you. You have to manage the conditions properly. That's it.
Okay, I will try.
Over to you. Any questions before we wrap up?
I think for now I'm good.
Awesome. So yeah, please practice this and tomorrow we'll get into loops.
Okay.